In this video, I'll be talking about the tools and software that I have been using quite some time and describe how they fit into my workflow of using Linux. The window manager that I'm using is i3. So as you can see, I'm using a ThinkPad E14. I started using Linux from July 2020, and it has almost been a year. And I think my journey has been quite interesting, and I have learned a lot about Linux and computers. i3 is one of the most popular window managers out there, and this is due to the fact that it is quite beginner friendly and has many features. Moreover, its config file is quite easy to study and make modifications to it. Another important feature of i3 is the scratchpad. So once you create a window, you can send it to the scratchpad, where you cannot view it unless you press the appropriate key binding to get back to it. So the use of a scratchpad is that suppose you were doing some work here, and then you needed to run another computation. Say for example, you wanted to update, or if you wanted to run Python. Now I have update as a bash alias, so that it goes and refreshes its packages. But you can instead use Python, and then let me try to import NumPy and then do some small matrix calculations. So here I'm calculating a dot product, and then once that particular task is done, you can quit out of it and then go about doing your original task. I also have this another scratchpad tool which is using Quelk. So here I generally do some small calculations like calculating log or converting currencies like from USD to INR, or maybe from INR to let's say INR to GBP. So it is quite helpful in case you need to do some quick calculations. Okay, now in order to show you the rest of the part tutorial, I think I should increase the font size so that it can be visible. Okay, so the terminal perhaps is a little too big. So the terminal emulator that I'm using is Alacrity. It claims to be one of the one of the fastest terminal emulators because it utilizes GPU for the calculations. The config file is basically a YAML file. So here you see. So this is the YAML file, which is where you would configure the font size, and color scheme, etc. So I think Alacrity is quite a nice terminal emulator, but I think very soon I'll be switching to the suckless utilities. Like I'll be switching from i3 to DWM, probably changing. This is the i3 blocks, so I'll be switching to Polybar, and instead of Alacrity, I'll be using suckless terminal, which is ST. And then coming to the status bar that I'm using, as mentioned before, this is i3 blocks, and most of these utilities that you see here, these are Luke Smiths. So you see this is the weather, which is powered by WTTR.in, and then we have memory, sound, CPU temperature, this is battery, and the time. So I will personally recommend for the people to switch to other status bar tools because it's lacking in some feature, but still for me till now it has been doing well. Okay, so next I'll tell you how I work with PDFs, because people of my domain generally have to read quite a lot of PDFs or produce them. In general, when I need a PDF reader just for the purpose of reading, then I use Zathura. So here is a PDF. So you can see this is a paper on the mathematical theory of attention. Now I generally use it to read. So we have vim bindings to navigate across, and if you need to follow any reference, then you can type the name of which is shown here, and then it will move to that particular location. And then if you need to go back, then I press Ctrl O, and then I get back to where I was. Now it was another feature that I like about Zathura is the inverted color mode. So you see the color has been inverted, and using the Zathura config file, you can choose what colors you want for this inverted color mode. So this is my choice. So here it is. The other PDF reader that I use is Okular. So Zathura does not have annotation support. So if you need to create pop-up notes or write some drawing on top of the file, then I generally use Okular. So let me open up a different file. Leaf segmentation, I think. Okay, so here is one paper. This is quite an old one, but should do the task of demonstration. So the color is this way because I have created an inverted color mode here too. So this is the original, and now as you can see, you have a pop-up note. Say suppose I write here, so to do implement this func in Python. So in this way you can write notes for yourself so that you can later, I have created another one, but if you so you see you can check these out. And for highlighter you have this, choose the color from here, whichever you want. Default is generally yellow, and then you can choose. So annotation, I would go for Okular. Next is MPV. MPV is my media player. So it is generally said that MPV is a Linux user's favorite media player. So let's try it out. So you see, this is MPV, quite minimalist, but its config is in Lua, so I think it is in Lua, and by making changes to it, you can make whatever customization you wish to make to MPV. And you see how I was able to make this window float. This is also a feature of i3, and almost all window managers have it, which is known as the floating mode. So actually you can take any window, make it floating, and then bring it back. When it is floating, you can move this window to any position you want. You can even make it switch it to other monitor, which I'm using right now. Okay, so that was MPV. Now an interesting thing about MPV is that you can use it with other tools. Like for example, this is my bash alias for one particular mode of the tool YouTube viewer. So if I go and use lo-fi, I'm searching the keyword lo-fi, so this is actually searching in YouTube. So let me open up the let's say the let me try the first one. Okay, I think this one is not going to. Okay, so you see this thing which is running, this is actually MPV, but it is running in no video mode. So you see how it works well with other terminal utilities and terminal streaming tools. Okay, Control C. So this was MPV. For checking out audio, I use ncmpcpp Media Player Classics PP, and I have set it to the base alias of npc. So you see, I have an offline library here. So it also has a visualizer, and apart from the visualizer, inbuilt inside mpv, I can also use cava. So you see, I have a binding here that launches cava, and then if I go and open up a file, it starts showing the visualization according to whatever is being played. You saw cava, and moreover, I think cava has a config file where you can make changes to the color scheme of the bars, the width of the bars, and whatever modifications you wish to have. Now, next, as you have noticed, I'm using the NNN file manager. So you have an assortment of plugins to use with it. You can open MD files, markdown files directly, open PDFs, and it also has a nice previewer and bookmarks. So you see, I press the B for bookmarks, and then each of the letters being shown are actually each and every one of the bookmarks. So if I go W, that's for the wallpaper folder. So here's my wallpaper folder, and I can go around. These are the recent wallpapers, and then by pressing semicolon and then P, I am calling the preview plugin, which is now showing me the wallpapers, the preview of the wallpapers. And this also works with PDFs as well, images, and also with these are the markdown files, so it works with markdown files as well. Another, I think, important thing is I generally work a lot with text files. So for text files and conversion between these different types of document formats, I use pandoc a lot. So let me open up a markdown file to demonstrate. I have this. Okay, this is a good example. So here I have listed out some tips that I generally note down because I forget about them quite a lot. Now inside of Vim, I have a key binding, liter m, which takes me, which actually calls a compiler script which is made by Luke Smith. So I call liter m. It compiles this markdown file using pandoc, and then I press liter 0, and then I have the preview. So you see, this is the markdown file, and here's the output where it has organized it according to the content. So as you can see, this was a bullet point. Here's a bullet point. Here we had multiple bullet points, and these have converted, and the headings are also appropriately adjusted. Now, other than markdown files, I work with latex files. So let me move to a directory where I have that. Okay, so I am here. So now I call NNN, and let me check out. Let me show you something with math intensive. So okay, so this is a math intensive document that I wrote for a math class that I was working on. So I'll use the compiler script to compile, and then liter 0 for the to show it off. So here it is. You see the math has rendered well. So this is the document. Okay, next, if you wish to work with latex slides that uses Beamer, then you can do that too. Let me go to the text file, liter m to compile, and liter 0 for the preview. So this is a programming class that I was teaching to some students. Okay, so now I mainly use pandoc and the latex compiler. Now other than that, I use LibreOffice for other needs. So you see I have LibreOffice. So you see the D menu prompt. I have LibreOffice. Next I would like to talk about the editors and IDs that I use. So as you may have already noticed, I use Vim. So let me open up some file. Quick reads. Okay. So for example, this I have configured NNN to directly use Vim, so it opens these in Vim. Now I use both. Neovim and Vim. Vim I mainly use for editing markdown files, like you saw before, and latex files. And tasks that generally involve short notes. But when I need to work with Python projects or web projects, then I generally use neovim or vscodium. So let me go to a project folder. Okay, so here is a file. Now I use nvim and then open up this directory, and you see it launches up, and then I can try working the train file. So this is one, and then there are many different types of plugins. So if you look at my new vim config, I have a new vim mainly ID related plugins in new vim, and that kind of configuration, copying, pasting, and then here are some flow term related configurations, hexokin acid toggle for color codes, and nursery. While in case of Vim, I have some lightweight plugins, such as these are just some themes, and then vimwiki. I have to talk about vimwiki later, and then snippets. And I also recommend, if you are working on embedded projects, then I do recommend vscodium. So here I have a project loaded, which is let me try to zoom in. Okay, so you see this is a project related to C++, and I'm not very experienced with make files and cmake, so I use an extension, vscodium extension, that does those configurations for me. Now another important use is that there is platform IO available for vscodium. So here, in case you are working on some kind of embedded projects, then I very much recommend the use of platform IO. So here you can open up a project. Let me zoom out a little bit. You can either open an old project, or you can try out a new project. If you work on a new project, then you see there are lots of boards, different kinds of boards available. And again, if I try to open an older project of mine, and I think this one is fine. So you see, I open up this project, and here is the code for it. Now using a single click, you can build it, and also you see here, this is the build. You can build it, and then you can upload it at the using just a click of a button. And I think this is better than the Arduino IDE that most people work with. Now other than that, I spend most of my time generally working on making notes. So for that, I recommend people to use Joplin, which is a free and open source tool. So yeah, here is Joplin. Now as you can see here, this is a note that I made for this class CS231N. So these are the notebooks, and then these are the sub notebooks, and within these notebooks you have these I would say chapters. So you can open up a chapter, and then you can see this is the editor view. You can write using matjax, from which works quite similar to the mat syntax in LaTeX, and the output is rendered right here. The syntax is quite similar to Markdown, so you can try that. So you see this is a different one, and recently this is the one that I have been working on. This is the notes for a paper I have been trying to implement. So you see we have here Madjax, and you can add code here. I think it is a very good tool for making long-term notes, like for a course or similar. Now another interesting thing about Joplin is that it comes with a terminal user interface. So this is the same that you saw there. So as you can see, CS231 notebook, and this is the same. And then we have the coordinates. Now if one more interesting thing is that if you open up, it opens that particular file in Vim, and then you can use the same compiler script that I used previously. And then if you check out the output, I think the compilation has failed because it was not able to find the file. Let me try it with a different document. So this is one. I'm going to compile it, then open the file. Oh yeah, you see here is the same document that was you see here this side, and that same document is now being rendered using, has been compiled using pandoc and rendered as a PDF document. Now, as I mentioned before, for a long chapter like notebook format notes, I use Joplin. But in case I need to work with short notes, then I use vimwiki. So which is a plugin of Vim. So you just open vimwiki index, and here you are at vimwiki. I actually don't open it this way. I have my own bash alias. So you see, this is the bash alias, and then I place vki, and I'm inside vimwiki. So vimwiki is interesting because it works on the formatting style, not like the structuring style of a wiki article. So you are in the main article, and then you go inside one step, and you have these tasks, and then suppose I have completed one task, I can check that it is done. I can align them accordingly into subtasks and main tasks. And you can also have nested, like for example, within the learn, I have these tasks, and then I can go down within inside, and so you can create many things. So this is essentially just a file, but you can link other files to it and create long nested structures of these files. So in case someone does not want to use Vim or vimwiki, but still wants a good to-do application, then on the open source side, I would recommend Planner. So I don't have installed it here, but I think this is the page. Yeah, so you can go here and then try this out. It has a nice interface. I think it is based on the elementary OS style, and you can try this. And I think it also syncs with Todoist, which is a freemium application, and you can try it out. I have recommended other friends to try Planner if in case they don't wish to try Vim or vimwiki. Now I am studying about deep learning and do student research. So for students working in deep learning, this machine actually does not have a dedicated GPU, so I can't do anything here, although I have a different laptop, but it does not have a very strong GPU. So I essentially do most of my training on cloud. So for that, I recommend Colab and also Kaggle. So Colab is actually meant for interactive use. So you can't just run a model on Colab and then and then without any interaction on the screen, it essentially shuts down your kernel. But if you wish to run your model for long term, like for 9 hours, then you should try Kaggle. But if it runs for more than 9 hours, then they close down your kernel. So that is how it works. So I recommend Colab and Kaggle. There may be more out there, and you can also set up your personalized VPS for training. But I generally use Colab and Kaggle. Then if you wish to set up an environment, I think on Linux you have good conda support, and you can either use the full version of conda, or you can try out miniconda. So as you can see, I have several environments set up. Like this is for BioPython, PyRosetta, PyMol. This one is for developing fast API applications and OpenCV. So I have categorized them in this way, and accordingly you can do it too. Now the last thing on my list is research paper aggregators, because I think that is needed. You can just stack all of the papers in one single PDF file and then aim to find them, or share with other people, share your annotations. So for that, I recommend using Zotero. So Zotero also has online interface where you can share. So you can see these and these are groups. So these are synced online. So you add any paper here, the other users who are also in this group will get these, and you can add notes based on them. So the other people will also receive this. And it also has an interesting feature where if you provide a DOI link, it will find and tag and give you download the paper, and you can, based on XDG, you can open your file accordingly using whatever PDF reader or annotation tool you want. So there's that. But these few days I am actually thinking about trying out this tool, papis. So this is a CLI tool, and it is a developing project. You can find the documentation right here, and I am planning to start using this tool. So in case if you want and you like CLI interfaces, then you can try this out. So this is it for this video, and I'll probably make one of such videos every year, so that I can share whatever new things develop in my workflow, and I will add most of the things that I find, or you want, whatever I have shown in this video, in the dot files. So if you go to my GitHub, and then here, and then I think it is dot files, yeah. So if you go to this repository, you'll find the dot files, and that are for the various applications. And in another video I'll be covering the scripts that I have here. So see you there.